Alright, so since April, I have done nothing else besides play Ubisoft games for the Ubisoft challenge of videos I was making, and it quite literally drove me to the point of insanity. I also found out there's like 25 mental hospitals near my area, and I definitely didn't look because I was about to get committed. I don't know what you're talking about. But I cannot force myself to play any more of that wondrous developer's games, so I'm gonna have to go get my tattoo as punishment for failing that challenge like I said I would. However, that doesn't mean we aren't gonna start up another challenge in an attempt to make gaming fun and gather every single platinum trophy that there is. I recently posted on my community tab asking you guys what the best single player story games are that you would like to see me platinum. And I'm not lying when I say I grabbed nearly every single suggestion that didn't have any online trophies in it, because this challenge we are doing now is going to be solely single player games, mostly because I have no friends and also can't be asked with online trophies anymore. This is the ultimate single player trophy hunting challenge that anyone can do, containing over 130 games with many popular series inside like Resident Evil, BioShock, Mafia, Yakuza, Dishonored, the list goes on. And I'm trying to complete all of these before the channel hits 800,000 subscribers, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe. The first game I decided to tackle on this list is Borderlands 3. This is one of my most favorite story games I've had the chance to play, and it recently just came onto the PlayStation Monthly Games, so I thought it was the perfect time to do so. There's a total of 45 trophies inside of Borderlands 3, including the Platinum. Most trophies are attributed to the main story and side quests because you have to complete every single one. Yeah, it's a bit of a grind. But the first stage is just beat the game's main story with luckily enough 0 missables during it. The game opens up with some cutscenes explaining the lore and plot of Borderlands 3. Basically, the entire game's main premise is that we are vault hunters trying to find these ancient vaults that hold very powerful items, as you could expect, but there are some big bad boys also after these same items. Such an in-depth masterpiece, I know. The first trophy I got was after we made our way through the game's little combat intro and main gameplay tutorial. I also got to fight my first boss of the game, and his name was Shiv. He also must be yanking the worm like a madman with how different his arms are in strength. Relatable, am I right? And the trophy I got was actually not from the boss fight, but just for reaching level 2 and leveling up for the first time. I then got another one from the story after I stared at this girl's badonkadonks for more than a socially acceptable amount of time. And one of my friends who has helped me in the past ended up joining to help me boost the very few online trophies this game has. Now in this challenge, I tried to add games that don't have any online at all, and nearly every single one doesn't, but there's a few strays like this game where the online is so easy I just had to throw it in because why not? And this game's online trophies are easy, like I just said. First, you get one from simply beating a friend in a duel, which is literally just a 1v1 duel you can start at any time. And then if you revive them after like a good person, you get another trophy from reviving a teammate. And then there's one more from just sending a friend an item off of your inventory and having them accept it. So I did that and got the trophy. There is one more online trophy regarding the shift account and golden keys, but I hadn't yet made my account for shift, so I had to put off on that one for a hot minute. However, it's still easy and possible to get. Okay, back to the main story now. During another mission I had to go on, I was just fighting some enemies and shot a barrel that then exploded everywhere and took out one, giving me a trophy for getting a kill with an exploding barrel. It then took me a hot minute to get any more trophies, but the next trophy I got was again from the main story. Basically, we ended up finding the first vault we wanted to go after, and it surprisingly enough is not on the base planet we're on now. So we had some lady mechanic fix up our ship, and once we were about to dip off the planet, I got a trophy from that. I then was indeed inside of outer space and on the sanctuary ship that we take around the galaxy for the rest of the game, and inside of it resides pretty much everything we need. There's gun shops and other shops that I can't remember exactly what they held. But there is also golden chests and diamond chests inside the ship. The diamond one is insanely good, but pretty much impossible to open with codes because there isn't many available. However, the gold one has loads of codes to get keys, and I found one that worked on the internet, which also gave me that last online trophy I needed that I mentioned a few minutes ago. I also did some side stuff and main stuff on this ship while I was here, and I found my way to the nightclub of the sanctuary vessel, and inside it there is numerous slot machines that are totally rigged. So much so that one just pooped out a grenade onto me, and I quote unquote won because I got a trophy from that called dropping loads. Kinda sus there, buddy, but it's okay. Back in the main story, I had to strap in for a few hours since the next trophies gotten happened almost at the same time in our both story. But basically what happened from the time we got the sanctuary ship to finishing the next story sequence was we went to the next planet that was also sort of under siege from bad guys. We contacted a major guy in the story who was also on our side named Reese. He also has a killer hairstyle, by the way. I can't lie, I got a bit obsessed with it. We then had to fight off some Malawan evil enemies for a while, did a boss fight against some creature named Gigamind, shout out Megamind's cousin on God, and then we just reported back to Reese in his tower and got a trophy from all of that. I also reached level 10, which is another one. We then got sent to another area of the universe and I had to track down Ava, who was one of the side characters, apprentices enemies on our team. She also went to the most goddamn annoying place possible. This planet's map literally is just a town full of enemies the entire time, and it also leads into a boss fight that was low-key hard to do. And not only because I was underleveled, but that was mostly the problem. I did get some trophies during it though because I died so much. First was called Florida Man, and it's from downing yourself with a grenade or explosion. I actually love that trophy so much, it's just so true with that Florida shout out. Anyways, I also got one from meleeing a load of enemies in the boss fight when they came to tickle me, called Feeling a Little Stabby. And I finally killed the boss guy after like an unironically long time, fighting him with many deaths included. I then didn't get any more trophies for a while, but we did go to some planet that was kind of just in space, like there was low gravity and stuff, reminds me of the moon. But anyways, I also spent some time doing side stuff to try and level my guy up, because this game doesn't really have a super high spike in difficulty each mission, but you can fall behind the level requirement if you just do the main story solely. And it also just gets a little bit hard, so being a high level can help. But I did finally end up reaching another trophy, and it was gotten after I boss battled Katagawa Jr., who was one of the evil people behind a lot of the things in this game's story. And the fight was actually super annoying because the dude cloned himself, and you kind of have to guess which one was the real one, whilst also avoiding the non-real ones. But it is actually a unique fight, so I won't complain. I took him down, then talked to the mustache man, and got the trophy. Oh yeah, we also reached our first vault of the game, finally. Basically, each of them have a massive fight with a monster guarding it, and then you're allowed inside to loot. But sadly, every time we do anything with a vault, the enemy siblings just show up to kind of take everything and ruin our day. This time though, they also killed Maya, who was one of the main people helping us. Rest in peace, Queen. Also, shout out the villain origin story for this girl, that's crazy. But on another note, I did get a trophy from that, so I'm living good. We then had a big ass mission inside of the Wainwright Manor, which is one of the most atmospheric places in this game, and I loved it. It reminded me a lot of the mansion in Resident Evil 8 and was just a blast to explore and kind of get pissed off in. However, the reason we were here was to find a vault key clue, and once we did, we just had to return to Wainwright Jacobs, who was another help in our case, and once I did, I got a trophy. I then continued on with the story and ended up leveling up to level 25, which is another trophy, and also halfway to level 50, which is the last level trophy in the game. The next story trophy I would get would then come once I defeated the next vault monster, and this time the fight was a bit more contested, if you will, but I did do it fairly easily, and the bad guys didn't even show up this time, which was an added benefit. Once I returned back to the sanctuary ship, I also got that trophy pop, and one of the side characters that has been helping us out ended up getting captured by the evil people, so we had to get her back as you do, and it sort of concluded with a massive boss fight in an arena with enemies just cheering for our demise as they do. But we did do it because I'm a legend and saved Tannis. She also grew wings and must have closed down on a Red Bull deal, I guess. Red Bull, please sponsor me. But anyways, here's the trophy from all of that. I then made my way to yet again another vault, except this time both the evil sister and brother were there, siphoning energy and power from all the evil things they do. But we actually only ended up fighting the brother this time because he was taking all the power from his sister. What a man whore. The fight though wasn't that bad, and I took him down. We would then go on to find out that the girl actually had planned this out and then consumed her own brother's life force and power to become pretty much the strongest thing in the galaxy, so that's awesome. But I also got 2 trophies after that, so that's also awesome. One of them though didn't pop because I was messing around in the menus, but it's right here in my notifications. I just didn't see it for whatever reason. We then reached the ending mission of the main story and made it to the first vault with the first vault hunter. There wasn't much here though, and it was more of just a plot moment than a grand opening. I did get a trophy from finding it though. I then reached the final 2 missions of the game. First, we just had to protect Tannis from enemies until a cutscene triggered and the evil girl showed up, who was also the little dude's daughter, and she killed her own dad, like all good villains do. But I got a trophy from that. And that mission was also sort of just a teaser for the final one, which happened right after, and just consisted of a massive boss fight pretty much. And it was actually quite hard, mostly just because her only critical point of damage was on the top of her head, and you pretty much just have to wait around for these very short moments of time to get hits on her. So overall, it actually wasn't hard. On second thought, it just took a while to do. Once killing her though, we basically saved the day, and there was cutscenes as you can imagine, but once they were all over, the final main story mission trophy would pop. So now it's time for stage 2, which consists of us pretty much just going in and completing every single side quest. There's over 70 of them, and this takes, well, a long ass time to do. But honestly, most of them are very unique and actually have story value. You also do get a ton of trophies naturally within the grind of this all, so let's begin again. I first got a trophy from finding all locations on the planet Necro Tefeo. This is the smallest planet in terms of locations and quests, so that was very easy. About 2 to 3 hours later, I then reached 20 side quests done and got the trophy called a la carte from doing that. And I then strapped in for ungodly amounts of time because the next trophy I would get was actually from reaching level 50, which is considered a hard grind. But if we were being honest, grinding for this platinum, you get this naturally no matter what, so yeah, there it is. I then decided to go find all the locations on places in this game because I was kind of burnt out from side quests, and this is a bit more more calm to do. First I found all of them on Pandora, then I found all of them on Eden 6 right after, and I also found all of them on the planet called Promethea. And to get all the locations found trophy, I had to go to my last trial planet, which are these separate areas of the game that count for locations, but only contain like one side quest inside. And once I walked a little bit into the final one, I got all the locations trophy in this game. The next trophy I got wasn't a part of any location finding, but instead for completing all of the proving grounds in the game. These are a type of side quests and all contain some pretty difficult combat sections with quite annoying boss fights at the end of them. However, none are impossible to do, and I did them all first try, I think. So here's that trophy. Now at this point I only had like 3 side quests left, and they were all slaughterhouse missions. The slaughterhouse is essentially a 5-round wave battle against enemies that just want to ruin your existence. The 3 different versions we will say vary in difficulty, but they are all pretty hard to do if we're being honest. And this alone took me like 6 hours to complete, because if you die, you die, and it's just awful. Like, it's actually awful. I almost lost it a little bit, not gonna lie. However, I got some super good ass weapons from all of this fighting, which did indeed help me in my suffering. And once I completed the final slaughterhouse mission, I got a trophy from beating all 3 of them, along with a trophy from doing every single side quest inside of Borderlands 3. So now it's time to just get the remaining trophies, which are a bit grindy, but nothing compared to what we just went through. First, however, I got one from simply tipping Moxie at her bar. Easy trophy. I then spent about an hour or 2 farming a trophy called Rewards Card, which is gotten from receiving a loyalty reward from all 9 of the different companies in the game. You get a loyalty reward every time you get 100 kills with a weapon from a certain company, and my final 2 I completely guessed on, but I assumed that they were both the launcher companies, and I guess they wouldn't have done these because I honestly hardly use those since you can't really get ammo for them easily, and they aren't that great overall. So I just found an area with a lot of enemies, killed a few, exited game, went back and they respawned, then I just repeated that for a while. But I did get them all eventually, and here's that trophy. I then did some easier trophies next. First was from reaching 10 vehicle parts hijacked in the game. This is very easy to do, and all you have to do is find a vehicle that can be hijacked, drive it to a vehicle spawn point, do it 10 times, and the trophy is yours. I also had to buy 20 cosmetic items from this dude named Earl, and I'm not gonna lie, with a name like that, he has gotta be on at least a few lists right along with Chris Tyson.
What did he say?
But the trophy is easy, and here it is. I then just completed a shooting range perfectly, and by perfectly, they mean just knocking down all the targets because I definitely missed. My aim is balls. I also then just got a double kill with a sticky grenade against enemies, and I did it on a bunch of low-level ones, so now I kind of feel bad. They stood no chance. The remaining trophies left now are more out of the way, but I had to hunt down a bunch of targets of opportunity, as the game calls them. Basically, it's just a little boss in certain areas of the game, and it's not hard to do. We had to also do that for 2 people, so there was 2 trophies relating to that, I fear. I then finally got a trophy called On Fleek for having purple or better gear in every slot. I was missing 1 for the longest time, but after I claimed my lost loot, I thankfully had the piece I needed and got the trophy. If that wasn't there, I think I might have cried, because getting purple or better loot can be a pain in the ass to do. But the final trophy I needed was sort of a collectible, you could say. I had to go and find all the Iridian slabs around this game. There's a total of 30 of them in the game, and they literally just have you walk up, press a button, and you hear some lore that you don't even have to listen to fully. But once I found the 30th one, I got the trophy and also the Borderlands 3 Platinum trophy right along with it. So that was the Borderlands 3 Platinum trophy experience. I love this game, and I actually played it a little bit on release forever ago. So it was a pretty fun ass time to fully get into it and enjoy the game in its fullest. The Platinum grind wasn't even that bad. Sure, it was a bit grindy, but it all worked perfectly and I had 0 issues at all, so it honestly couldn't have been more perfect. I'm super excited for this challenge, and hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy it also. Should have loads of videos every week, so stay tuned. But rating this game out of 10, I'm gonna give Borderlands 3 a solid 8. It did get a bit repetitive here and there, but it was a fire game, and yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.